Good morning, and welcome to Keycode Media's Inputs Outputs, a new series dedicated to giving you short technical tutorials for the production, post, and audiovisual industries. Each presentation will run around 20 minutes and followed by a live Q&A with you, the audience. I'm your host, Jeff Sengpiel. Evertz introduced the Dreamcatcher a few years back, presenting an industry-leading replay control system. In 2017, the Dreamcatcher 4K replay system won an Emmy Award focused on their ability to implement 4K digital zoom. Forward to today, an Evertz Dreamcatcher platform is an integrated system that fits into all the critical aspects of live production: capture, replay, playout, live editing, storage, logging, and content management, making the robust platform the most scalable IP-based suite for live production. At the end of Evertz's presentation, we'll invite all of you to participate in a live Q&A. Please submit your questions on Facebook Live or YouTube chat. We'll try our best to answer all of them.
Hi everyone, my name is Nima Malik Manish. I'm the product marketing manager for Dreamcatcher. I'm going to be talking about some of our live production workflows, live production products, and especially what we're doing in the cloud. I hope everyone is well. We've got a jam-packed session, so I'm going to get started right away. I think the first slide I always show my customers is this slide here with our current customer logos. Only because even after 8 years, I still get comments from customers and I didn't realize how widespread Dreamcatcher was, where it's being used, different applications. I didn't realize you were being used for project X or Y. Dreamcatcher's very dominant in the market, especially in the venue side and the facility side. Already over 37 schools have adopted us. Most of the professional sports leagues, NBA, MLB, are being used for AV, being used for a lot of different applications. Probably the largest market we're in that our customers don't realize Dreamcatcher supports is the Pro AV side. Our system was very well designed for this. It's a Linux-based platform. It's very secure. We've added a lot of security in the back end to accommodate military, academic purposes. It's a scalable ingest, intuitive user interface. So if you have non-traditional operators, they can pick the system up very quickly. On the military and government side, customers like the Secret Service, military applications are using our platform. On a corporate side, State Farm, Accenture, LinkedIn, Dropbox, Verizon Media have adopted Dreamcatcher for corporate AV, and academic and medical, Baxter Pharmaceutical, for example, Harvard Business School, Kellogg, are using Dreamcatcher for their academic purposes. And what are they using and how are they using Dreamcatcher? Well, first, the user interface is very easy to use, so non-traditional operators can jump in and use our service. The main workflow I think most of our customers on the AV side use is recording content, taking that content, transcoding it in real time to a drive or to a MAM and delivering that content back out. And our platform does this very easily with the modular design. Recording content and viewing that content. We took all the great feature sets that the NBA and MLB are using to actually view their content, and we allow you to record that content and then manipulate and work with the content. So let's say you're doing a military test and you want to scrub back or see something from 2 or 3 different angles, zoom in on something that happened. Our platform allows you to do this, as well as all the other applications. So you don't need another system that's recording, transcoding, delivering your content, and a second system that allows you to view it. Our platform does all of this in an intuitive interface that non-operators can use. Light production. A lot of our corporate customers want to get their own messaging out to the market, even within their large facilities. If you're a global company, you want to get your message out to different employees everywhere. So our customers on the corporate side want to produce their own content, and they want to make that content look professional. Well, it's very time consuming and also costly to create an entire production facility to do this. Our Bravo interface that I'll touch on later allows you to do this from a very simple interface, professional feel. It's something that's being used in the market to do broadcasts, but you can do it on a corporate side. And then recording logging. Again, you're doing an academic lecture and you want to put little metadata of what your professor's talking about at certain points, or you're doing a test and you want to actually put metadata or telemetry onto that content. Our system allows you to do this in real-time logging through a web interface or bring in automatic stats. The great thing about our interface is all of these workflows that I've stated here can work under one platform, as opposed to having 4 or 5 systems that do this. Right now, I'm going to take a little time to talk about our core platform and our user surface. First, our core platform, the way it was designed even 6-7 years ago, was in a modular approach. Even when we had a single server that had a Dreamcatcher, everything within that server, inputs and outputs, baseband, the internal components on the Linux server were actually designed in a manner that could be separated across multiple servers or different locations out in the cloud. We knew where the market was going and decided to design our system with that backend already in place. So as we've grown, our systems actually hasn't changed in the core side of it. We've just added extra functionality on the back end. So with our design, through an IP core, what you can do is scale your ingest, capture pool, your playout, your operation, and your processing separately. So I can choose how much storage I want, what type of encoding I want on the front end, how many operator stations, how many physical playouts, and how much processing I want, and then tailor that to my exact workflow. And later on, you can scale this up independently as well. So it makes it very powerful in that sense. Because we have this IP core and access to all of Evertz's product lines, we can bring in any format of video. IP streams, SMPTE 2110, SDI, NDI added recently, high frame rate, HD all the way up to 8K. All of these different formats and video standards are currently deployed out in the field. The other aspect of our system is a distributed federated database. What does that mean? It means all of the different nodes hold a piece of the database. One, making it very quick because you're only accessing a portion of the database when you're requesting information. Two, as opposed to what the traditional replay industry is doing, we actually take every frame of video and store it independently in a database, accessible independently. The power of that is anyone can request any frame from any server independent of each other. It can also mean we can add metadata on a frame-to-frame basis that makes the system very powerful. As that content's coming in, because of this federated database, I can take that content, I can do my live production, I can play it out, I can pass that content to my media gateway to do transcoding simultaneously. The other aspect of this IP design is traditionally you have control rooms, different capabilities for those control rooms. With the IP design, all of my resources are available at any one time. If I have a large facility with 20 control rooms, 100 inputs, and 40 outputs, I can combine those virtually into a single production and do everything across a single production. Or with a timer or a scheduler, I can actually split those resources dynamically and satisfy multiple productions and doing different things. One of my productions is traditional replay, another one is doing editing, a third one is actually taking content and putting it out to the MAM, and a mixture of these. And these can actually vary in size. All of your resources are available. If a resource is dark in some control room, you have access to it and you can use it. So with our content, we can actually stream out to the web very easily. We can do growing files to nonlinear editors. All of this is controlled by Magnum. So our entire infrastructure can actually be automated, scheduling ingest, scheduling playout, real-time growing files can be scheduled, multiple control protocols like MOS, AMP, even our own third-party API, endpoints going out to AVID or Adobe, even publishing out to S3 buckets, and all of the different MAMs can integrate with our platform very easily. On the user surface, I think this is one of the aspects that made Dreamcatcher so powerful in so many different markets. We can tailor user surface to whatever you need. For existing replay operators, the controller is exactly what you expect. Operators can actually jump in and do a live production with no training at all. This makes it very powerful for existing operators and allows them to master our platform very quickly. For new operators, we have touch, a very intuitive touch that was designed at the forefront with our system, not as an afterthought. You can drag things around. You can actually scrub back and forth on your timeline. If you're a non-traditional operator, we can simplify this so even officials and umpires can jump on this. On the AV side, you may not have a dedicated operator. Someone should be able to sit in front of the system, be able to operate with little or no training. Our platform allows you to do this and then configure our user surface for whatever applications you have. This is a very powerful feature. It's something that allows people to interact with this great technology on the back end and serve multiple purposes off the same cluster. As Mo was saying, I can actually spark up a new workflow. If I have a new workflow I wasn't even designing for, I can just create a new layout for it. So the system also has a lot of longevity in the back end. So our Media Suite line of products, these are software applications that can run on different various hardwares. The Media Suite is a web-based management system. It allows you to see all of the jobs in your network. It allows you to manage all of the devices from a central point. Very friendly user surface. You can get a lot of information in a very small area here. The media suite also allows you to see all of your content as well. As you're going to see in a couple seconds here, we can actually view any content. I can do transcoding on a network. This is our main transcoding engine as well. It has processing, but it can also farm out jobs to any node on your entire network. I can build any flow, taking any content and deliver it to any other format I want. And as my media suite products get busy, they can actually farm out jobs to their capture nodes, their playout nodes, and have those systems automatically help with that content. Our media director allows you to view the content. I can clip content, view live streams, clip content and create playlists with that content, add metadata to that content, view even content that's sitting on nearline storage or a MAM in a proxy format and subclip and pull that in. It lets me build a remote output playlists, see things in a very familiar clip format or thumbnail format with multi-angles in place. Our scheduling product allows you to schedule ingests, schedule playouts from a very simple user interface. It lets me actually do automated playout built on a schedule. It lets me create my sessions of different events that are going to happen simultaneously. Metadata applications, so I can add metadata tags to my content in real time. So a lot of our customers are using to real-time tag content as the content's coming in. So our media suite application allows you to have control over your entire network from a web-based interface, which means you can actually access this content from anywhere now, really. You can spark a media suite product out into the cloud and pull that access to your operators. Our DC Live Edit is not new, but I want to retouch it because it's not really being utilized appropriately in the industry, and our customers are giving us great feedback on this. Our DC Live Edit is a product that fits in between the simple editing of replay systems and the very complex craft editing of nonlinear editors. It kind of fits in that middle section there. It gives you all of the benefits and some of the great things you want to have from those craft editors, but allows you to work on the live content. Well, what does that mean? It means there's no render times. A lot of our customers are using our DC Live Edit to roll content on air, and they're editing it in a familiar fashion like a nonlinear editor, but they're actually adding on the back end of that in real time as they're playing it out. It's also angle aware. If I'm doing a multi-angle event, a system, and I've done my edits and I want to flip an alternate angle in there, our system will give you every alternate angle, frame match it, and let you flip that alternate angle with your audio and video edits in place. It has graphics layer. It's something that we can have put front ends that are very familiar to editors. So if they're used to using AVID, our front end will act like AVID. So they can jump and use the system without a lot of training on the back end. So this is something that's going to help you get content out on air and create crafted products that you traditionally would have to have the bulky overhead of growing files out to nonlinear editors right off of your Dreamcatcher network, and you can actually clip off the live inputs as well. So I think the most exciting aspect of the Dreamcatcher platform that I want to talk about is Dreamcatcher Anywhere. So what does that mean? And especially in the current atmosphere and what's going on right now, you may not ever get back to the production you're used to. You may never have as many people in your facility or your studio simultaneously. It's possible that we may never have anyone in the facilities or studios. Dreamcatcher Anywhere allows us to take your user surface that you're used to, replay, live edit, Bravo, live editing, a media suite, and pass them to anywhere on any platform. If I want to access my replay from my PC at home, if I want to access it from a web browser somewhere within my facility, if I want to have my iPad and actually do some live editing on it, or dedicated hardware for people you know are always going to be working from home, we allow you to do that now. This is something that can work on existing Dreamcatcher clusters. So again, if you already have a cluster and now what your need is that I just want my operators to be able to work from a different room or from a different building, we allow you to do this very easily on a production design system. You know, I'm sure you can set up a VNC and then have Teams open and a couple of other things, but these are bulky systems. They have a lot of delay. They have stability issues. They're not designed for live production. The Dreamcatcher Anywhere platform is designed for live production. It has intercom already built in over IP. It rolls in all of the feature sets that you want, and the latency is as low as 100 milliseconds. So it's something that feels like you're sitting in front of your system. Operators are actually saying that sitting behind this system and sitting in front of the KVM feel the exact same. This isn't any different than sitting in the control room. We can also do all of this from the cloud. So let's say you're a new customer and you don't want to have on-prem hardware. We can spark all of these resources out in the cloud and just have an on-ramp of getting your content to the cloud and bringing it back down from the cloud. Or you could mix these two. I have existing infrastructure. I want to extend some of my operators remotely, but I also want to add 2 more operator stations. Well, we can sprock up a Bravo surface out in the cloud. I can have another operator for a larger show on demand. So this is a very powerful platform that in this day and age will allow your operators to work in a manner they're used to, the stability and the function set and the feature set they're used to from anywhere, from any platform. So this is something that I think you should engage your sales staff with, talk to us, because I think it's going to benefit anybody out there right now. So just in recap, you can access your Dreamcatcher interfaces, whatever they are, Replay, Bravo, from anywhere. It's designed for broadcast, so we're making sure it's stable, it has a resiliency and the form factor that you want from a Dreamcatcher side and what you're used to. Very low latency. This isn't something that you're going to press a button and wait a couple seconds before it happens. You can use this live on air and meet your queues and hit your points. And it's something that can work either on your existing Dreamcatcher cluster on a private cloud, on a public cloud, or a mixture of both, a hybrid that you can burst out into.
So let's dive into the live Q&A. Everyone out there is encouraged to send your questions via Vimeo, Facebook Live, or YouTube chat. While your questions are being collected, did you know that KeyCode Media is an industry-leading systems integrator with a small army of engineers specialized in broadcast, post-production, and audiovisual solutions? If you need equipment, we have it. If you have a complex problem, we've likely already solved it. If you need support, our engineers are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're live now. That's the fun of live production in this sort of environment. So it sounds like Dreamcatcher is very modular with a lot of options. Are there set packages to help simplify configurations?
Yeah, we do have some set packages. Going to the AV side too, we're going to strip things down as we see different workflows that are coming consistently in. We do have a DC1 product. That's a standalone Dreamcatcher that you can buy as is, very simple to set up, but it can be upgraded fully. We have packaged in the software side too. So, as we get more of the AV projects rolling in, we'll actually create specific packages so you can actually order something basically like a box.
Very cool. Talking about the Pro AV folks, how have various people found the learning curve to be with those who are completely brand new to Dreamcatcher?
Yeah, that's one of the great things about the system is we try to make it as simple as possible. Touch interface, keyboard, mouse, input formats that people are used to. So everything is simple enough that you can drag and drop on their web browser. If you're used to using a web browser and scrolling back and forth, pressing play, it was very simple to use in that sense. Our scheduling software is actually a calendar that you can click an add button, gives you options of what type of things you can add and schedule. Everything like that is very accustomed to what people are used to on computers. If you want to go through your MAM or your attached storage, it's just a file directory. So again, very simple to set up. We create things called sessions. So you can actually create reoccurring sessions for a customer or an event, and a system will pop up in that format all the time. So once you have these pre-existing sessions set up, everything can happen after the fact. And most of our AV customers have non-technical operators that are using these systems.
Very cool. Question from the Chicago Cubs. W. We get a lot of files from TV trucks or other sports teams. Can Dreamcatcher take EVS files and transcode to other file types like .mov or .mxf?
Yeah, we do everything that's open standard. The one gotcha about the EVS files is if you're taking direct EVS files out, their MXF is proprietary. So they own it and they haven't released that. But if you use XFile or EVS or director format or XFile or XT access, you can actually rewrap those MXF files into an open MXF format before it leaves the EVS. So if you do that, we can pull that content directly into our platform. And on the way out, all of our sidecar XMLs are actually EVS formatted in and out. So all your metadata, restoring, all of that will actually come into the system and go back out of the system so EVS can understand it.
Very cool. Question from Dan. Will it do NDI and NDI HX?
NDI for now. We're looking at HX.
Very cool. Also a follow-up from him. Could I do something crazy like bring in NDI and then spit out SIPT 2110 while sending the NDI out RTMP and perform a multi?
Bringing an NDI and sending out 2110 is fine. We can take any format in and send any format back out. The second part of that would be a special edition. We are adding those formats in our cloud initiative. It's not currently in the system yet, but it's in our near-term roadmap.
Very cool. With everything being remote, how do I bring in remote guests into Dreamcatcher?
Are you talking about as far as user logins and things like that, as people logging in?
I think it'd be like a remote interview type of thing. Is there a way to bring in, is there something to set up a feed for someone to easily, like have an app or something on their phone and just be, oh, hey, I'm suddenly live?
Yeah, for input methods into the Dreamcatcher, we try to keep it as simple as possible. So whatever format you're trying to get down to the ingest type that we're trying to get to. So if your camera on your phone or whatever internet app you're using can spit out H.264 and stream that content, we can stream that directly in. As far as being able to stream IP content over the internet, we're adding that functionality in our near-term roadmap, similar to the last question.
Sounds good. What with all the remote access solutions for the system, what kind of security are you using? Are you dependent upon someone's VPN, or is there a way through or around that? Or
yeah, so that really comes down to the security of your network. We're not doing anything above and beyond encrypting and going through your own network. So most of our customers are handling their security by creating private and secure VPN tunnels if they need to. They're on private LANs if they're trying to do it within a facility, or again, going through existing internet protocols if they're going over the public internet.
Very cool. What kinds of shared storage do you integrate with for long or multi-camera captures?
Say that again. I didn't get that.
What kind of shared storage do you integrate with for long or multi-camera captures? There's a couple different brands. I know AVID's got Nexus. I know.
We don't. Yeah, we do some tighter integration specifically with our mediator platform, CatDV, StoreNext. But we're open to every single type of MAM. Most of the MAMs have NFS, fiber channel, CIFS or something like that. So all of those are open. Our system, our platform is a Linux-based platform, so it's easy to get content in and out. If there's a new type of MAM or a protocol you want us to support, just engage us. We're trying to add as many protocol supports for existing MAMs. CatDV was one of those ones where our customers came to us, asked us to contact them and create a tighter integration with metadata flowing. Same with AVID, and we added that functionality in.
Okay. There's another question. Part of it, I think we already hit integration. MAM vendors have you worked with? What NLE systems, and does it work with any generic S3? I'm assuming that means S3 buckets out there.
Yeah, S3 buckets. We're working with a couple of customers, big ones, ESPN and ACC and SEC network, of getting content around. As far as sorry, the first part of that question was
NLE systems.
Oh, NLE. The NLEs. So we obviously work with AVID, so we can actually check files in, growing files, regular files, and check files back out of AVID. And Adobe is relatively easy, so we can do growing files, files in. We are developing an Adobe panel where you can actually look into the Dreamcatcher network and get files. I don't have a timeline on that, and I've actually been burned a couple of times by promising it on a certain date, but it's something that we're actually developing in real time. So if you're familiar with Adobe panels, it'll be something you can open up. You can see a proxy version of all of our content, pull that directly into your Adobe timeline or growing files. And AVID's relatively simple because we've gone through their interplay interface.
Okay, so it's an interplay connection there. That makes sense.
Correct. Yeah.
On video standards, where is HFR being used? Is that a sports-based ask generally?
It is, but you're actually seeing a lot more in non-sports. A lot of our customers are going 120 frames per second, which is considered high frame rate. But for our platform, we go to anything as far as 1080p up to 10x. That's as large as we've gone. We can go higher, but we don't have any cameras that are doing more than 10x currently. And in 8K, we can actually go to 120 frames per second. So when you're thinking of high frame rate, if it's a 6x, it's going to burn 6 of your inputs. If it's a 2x, it's going to burn 2 of your inputs. Aside from that, as long as our system knows that it's a multi-high frame rate feed coming in and where the phases are coming in, it treats it like a regular input.
With 8K running at that frame rate, what's the bandwidth needed to do that?
It's very high. I think 6 gig or something like that, 3.2 gigs per second. We do each, so if you're tiling in quadrants, traditionally 4K is 4 1080p quadrants, we're doing 1620 or 200 megabit per second quadrants for the 8K.
Okay.
So that's really the calculation. And then double that 420 frame rate. So 32 of those coming in. So actually might be, for 120, it might be 6 gigs of content coming in on a single server as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's the network backbone going to need to be behind that?
10 gig, we find, because it's per node, we're not doing more than 120 frame rate 8K per node. 10 gig is enough. On the front end, you bring it however you want. If it's going to be 12G SDI, if it's going to be SMPTE 2110 in quadrants, there's multiple formats coming in. But on the front of our system, whenever we're working with 8K, we put something called DCIOs, which are encoder cards, which will take those feeds and encode them down to J2K rather than us trying to do it on the capture server. So that's where we get the power and the strength to do 120 frame rate 8K on a single server.
Okay. Follow up from the Cubs. Can your virtualization product be used to add HFR capabilities to existing Dreamcatcher systems so we wouldn't have to buy more server boxes?
If you're talking about adding ingest capability or something like that, that's a phase 2 for us. Because of the current pandemic, all of our focus came into allowing operators to be extended out somewhere else. So we are going to have capabilities for customers to burst out and have additional capture and playout. Initially, what we're going to allow customers to do is actually take one of their operator stations or all of their operator stations and extend them to different areas, whether that's at home or a different area in the same building. It's going to feel like an operator sitting down in a traditional replay system, but then move it somewhere else. The only gotcha we got currently is on the phase 1, we're going to have one monitor available for this remote access. We will add 2 monitors. So if your operations is already currently 2 monitors, you have to shrink it down to a single monitor.
Understandable. Yeah, you got to make some concessions. So a question from C. Davis. Any support for Grass Valley EDS?
I haven't worked directly with it. Do you know what the protocol to go to that would be? Or is there anything specific?
Don't have offhand. I know they were using kind of a GFX. I mean, everybody's got their own flavor of MXF. So
yeah.
Like a GXF instead. And I know like Leech used LXF. There was, it had to go through the input-output servers. I would assume
maybe we'll do a follow-up question, answer to that through email.
Sounds good. Another question from Dan. Everything is in the cloud. Is there a license per input-output to purchase, or is it a subscription license per every 20 ins and outs?
Well, both. What we're going to do for the operation surface on our phase 1 is if you're doing it all in the cloud, it's going to be just a license per year per operator. So you can have it per operator. In our phase 2, we will actually have it per event. So, for someone like the Cubs, it might make sense to do a license based per year. For someone like an NFL team like the Bears, it probably doesn't make sense to do per year when you're only doing 12 or whatever events per year. As far as being able to do ingest and output, we'll make it as granular as possible. So we'll be able to add a single channel per event or a single channel per year in or out. And then we'll obviously look at packaging things together in bulks of 6, 12, whatever those numbers are that make sense for the industry.
Very cool. Let's see, DC Live Edit, is this an extra service or is it included?
It's a software that you can install any Dreamcatcher server, one per server, or it could be a standalone hardware with the software installed on top of it.
Very cool. Looks like we've run out of questions.
A lot of questions. Good.
So, any last words there? Any last things you want to get across to everybody?
Yeah, I think especially on the AV side for AV customers, the sports side, people like the Cubs and other people have seen our system. It's there. For AV customers, it makes sense for us to come and do live demos for you or a live session of what our user surface looks like. Because it's so configurable, we can normally take our user surface and tailor it for your specific workflow. So the most successful projects we've had on the AV side or even the sports side, we've sat with the customer, they've told us what they're trying to do and where their challenges are. And we've shown them a package of things that they can take from our platform to exactly fit their workflows. So I think if you're looking for things, even if it's something that you don't think we're doing right now, engage us because we're probably doing another project, and it might just not be in the core functionality that we're promoting out in the field.
Quite understandable. Yeah, we get that key code a lot.
Yeah.
As well. So that's the thing. If you've got, I mean, it sounds like AV sounds it's going to be kind of the new frontier for you folks. And
State Farm was actually a really good example of that. Working with Mason, there was once we installed the system, we developed some things beforehand, and then once we got in front of the operator, it would be nice if there was 6 or 7 little features we could kind of add in. So we went back to our development team, and most of those were very lightweight things that we can add in. So we're going to be adding those changes in for them.
Very cool. So if anyone's got questions about Dreamcatcher, you can still add them in the chat. If you are interested in seeing a demo, please reach out to Keycode Media. We can get this all hooked up for you. Nima, thanks for taking the time today to. Looks like you might be in the office.
No, this is my basement here.
Nice. Well, thanks for joining us from the basement. We're doing what we can these days. And again, this is Inputs Outputs. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Jeff with Keycode Media. We'll see you the next time.
Thank you. Have a good one.